what I want to do is I want to guys show you basically the progress that we were able to make. So the idea is actually we need to make this community more like life alive, and we need to start bringing people just and like make sure that we are engaging with each other and we know what we're doing. We have a plan, and well, we follow up on action items that we need to do. So this is basically the first call that I've set up, and I'm looking for your feedback on how to run it, what topics to include. Maybe there could be something else that you would like to add here, and what should be the frequency? I was thinking maybe like once per 2 weeks could be fine, but let's go through that and we can discuss that later. The agenda is. I just wanted to share what happened. There's a white paper in the works. We've been in rare bootcamp organized by Ultragenics, and as a result of that, we've put together a very simple, high-level roadmap. We have a scientific board for Cure OGT. I'll share the names with you. We'll talk about parent registry, about like Give Lively and Benevity updates. These are the websites that allow us to receive donations. We'll also talk about that. We really need volunteers. I would use help from families for a bunch of things. We'll go through that. Natural history study, it was cut by NIH, and we may want to think about what we can do. And the last one is lab visits, and I'll share just a couple of photos from Sarah. Good to go? Sure. Cool. So, as a result of the conference, we are working right now on a white paper. I will share the slides with you guys, and you will be able to hit on the link, and you will be able to see what it does. It just basically provides us with a status quo, what we know about the disease, and what needs to be done. This has been put together by Lance. He volunteered his time and he has put this together. But there are a lot of contributions from the research community who attended the conference. So it's still in the works, and hopefully, well, by like in the upcoming week or two, we'll be able to finalize that. But the main content is already there. In case you are interested in like what's going on, I think it's a very good I mean, what's good? What is the disease? It's a good place to start. Obviously, you know that we have videos from the conference that are posted on our website, but it's a condensed version of all of it. And of course, huge thanks to Lance for that. Another thing, last week, me and Irina, we were in Ultragenics Bootcamp. Ultragenics is a company that helps develop drugs for rare diseases, and sometimes they organize events like that. I think 2 times a year or so, and they bring different parents who have similar conditions, kids with similar conditions as ours. And we've gone through a very interesting and robust plan of what can be done, what should be done. It's basically an educational module. Was extremely helpful. We've gone through like cellular models, animal models, therapeutic modalities. What is that? Biomarkers, and things like that. They will share the materials, and I will share it with you guys. They are very self-explanatory, and it really helps us to just basically educate ourselves. What is a like biology of a disease, how to approach biomarkers, what is therapeutic modalities, and things like that, and what comes like after each other. And over here, that's me over here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. And there's Irina somewhere there as well. Yeah, she's over here. Um, as a result of this, oops, yeah, as a result of this, we have made a step at putting together a roadmap of what needs to be done. I haven't ran it by any of our scientific like folks, scientific like people who can who are helping us. But this is basically the path. We need to understand the biology. what this disease does. And we've already gone through, like not we, but Lance's lab, Don's lab, Jerry Hart. They've done a huge work to help us with that really. Um, Understand the biology, then identify potential modalities. Modalities really stands for therapeutic options. What can be done? And currently, our researchers identified a couple of things. One is it's called small molecule. Basically, it's drug repurposing or like existing drug repurposing or looking for another molecule that can do something in our kid's brain so that it reverses the activity or like it alters the activity of OGT gene. Another thing is supplement, like glucosamine. That's what we were doing like for a lot of time now. And of course, gene therapy. And there are multiple different options in gene therapy, and that has to be explored even further because there are things like ASO, there are things like CRISPR-Cas9, and AAV is a like a delivery method. So there are a lot of things, and we need to dig deeper into that and just identify what works. Once we identify that, we can go to preclinical trials. This is ahead of us, so we should not event. Well, so what is preclinical trials? Basically, it's cell test and mouse test, right? And we want to make sure that we have cells and we have mouse available for our researchers to test those hypotheses. We know that Dunn has both. We know that Lance has cells. Mice are coming. So currently, Jackson Lab is developing mice for Lance, and he will have those mice anytime. Like I don't know, like probably in this half or maybe early next half. And of course, after that, there goes clinical trials, like human like trials one, two, three, and approval. And in parallel, we absolutely have to maintain our patient registry. We'll get into that. We need to have a natural study, and we need to have biobanks. So other organizations like ours, they have all that, and they put a lot of emphasis on the importance of all of those things. I don't know the dates here. Ideally, it would be great to put the timeline here, right? Saying that understand the biology. It's been here, like it's been like for 10 years already. How much more do we need? Identify potential modalities. How much more do we need? With that, we don't know. And hopefully we'll be able to discuss that with the scientific board. Let me pause here to see if you have any questions for now.
I guess, did the company give any sort of indication of, success or not success for some of these steps, like, gene therapy? Can you come up with something with CRISPR or not? Um, can
Yeah.
you replicate it with mice, OGT or not? I mean, I guess my question is there any brick walls here that I understand the process flow, but you know, can they, what's their success rate working with rare sort of genetic diseases and their
Well,
outcomes?
it all depends, Neil. And I don't have definitive answer to that. It looks like all the tools are available. The research communities just and the scientific communities is rushing in the speed of light, really. I mean, like in terms of like all together combined, there are a lot of tools that are available. It's a matter of focus for us to make sure we're following the plan for our disease. And we absolutely need to make sure that someone is working on not only like on not on small molecule, someone is working on gene therapy and supplement. So there are success cases, absolutely, for ASO, for CRISPR-Cas9, AAV. Like AAV is a slightly different thing. It's a delivery, right, method, vector. There are success cases for that. We personally spoke with someone, with a guy, with a dad. He has organized San Filippo Foundation. It was called Cure San Filippo. It's big, very known foundation, and they have gone to like to a therapy, to a gene therapy, and he has treated his daughter. He said that, well, she did not recover fully. She did not reach the intellectual kind of a norm, but compared to other kids, he sees significant improvement in quality of life, and that's a win for him. So basically, and I can share. Maybe we need to invite him on one of our meetings so that he could share his experience, because it's fascinating to hear those stories. So they were able to get through the plan, and get to the treatment, and treat his daughter, which was fascinating. So yeah, Neil, there are success cases. The tools are available. We just up to us to make sure that we have a plan. It's
Mhm.
a vetted plan, vetted by scientists and subject matter experts, and
Mhm.
we have the funding to do this. And the funding is pretty significant. We're talking not about like hundreds of thousands, but millions. All of those bigger foundations, they're raising millions of dollars.
Mhm.
And but as long as we have a plan and we have success story, it is all possible. Apparently, especially here in the US, like I'm sure in Europe as well, there are a lot of rich people who are willing to donate to the right cause, and they want to see that it's going to make a difference, which we can show to them. Um, I've put together a bunch of slides about the biology, understanding the biology over here. We don't want to get into that right now. It's just I'm leaving it here so that you can go through that and just look through that. The template was given by Ultragenics, basically what they mean by understanding the biology, and they're asking some questions. What are effective gene pathway, genetic mechanism, variants involved, prevalence, and heterogeneity of clinical presentation. A lot of words that were not known to me. So, and some other stuff. So you can, again, I'll share those slides with you. Feel free to go through that. And the source is the white paper, which is amazing, right? I don't have to really go to like multiple different papers, scientific papers. Everything is there. The source is there. And I was able to fill that in. Uh, And the next part after understanding the biology is understand therapeutic modalities. It was very useful to be there last week because on this event because we learned this word therapeutic modalities, right? Basically, it's therapeutic like options, right? What are the options? And they're different: substrate supplementation, small molecule, gene therapy, gene editing, mRNA-based therapeutic interventions, ASO. And looks like our scientists identified these three as our focus. Again, this all needs to be vetted by them. This is slide made by me. So we will need to vet, show it to scientists, and basically make sure that they're on the same they're on board with that. But we've discussed already that's substrate, small molecule, and gene therapy. All right. Scientific board. Currently, we have the following people confirmed for the board: Lance, Dan, Stephanie, Natasha, Michael, and Eva. And basically, these are like this has been the people and the researchers who were the closest to our disease, and they were the most collaborative, responsive, and of course they've collaborated on the white paper massively. So thank you to them. The first questions that we'll need to discuss is basically research gaps and projects to fund, right? Do we really understand the biology, or we have gaps there? And moving forward, the modalities. Well, do we really agree on all of those three modalities? Are there any gaps? Why ASO, for example, is not in the list of the priorities for us? That I don't know, and would be great if we could clarify that with them. There is one proposal from Clement Cho's lab, This is topic number two for drug repurposing. Clement, we've reached out to Clement last year, and he identified he developed a fly, and he knocked down OGT gene in this fly, and he identified a very strong phenotype for the fly without this gene. Like there was an eye, and he said that it's very promising. So what I can do, guys, is I can try to test the approved FDA approved drugs to see what can mitigate this effect on the fly. So we have this proposal. It's in our inbox. The question is, should we do it? Is it should we do it with Clement, or maybe somebody else should do that? He has been doing this for many other diseases and conditions, so he's known for this particular work. Another proposal that we have is iPSC cells production. That's another thing that is that can be very helpful, and we want to bring this to scientific board approval. I'll pause here to see if you have any questions.
Well, not a question, but I guess more of a comment. I mean, sounds like drug repurposing would be the fastest way to try to get to a solution. Uh,
Absolutely.
Obviously, if you understand what the side effects or of approved drugs would be, um, would that be like the focus on that concurrently while looking for a gene therapy solution?
Absolutely, Neil. Absolutely. It all has to go in parallel. It's not either or really. It all has to go in parallel. My only question to drug repurposing is what molecules will Clement test? Because there's a library of FDA approved drugs, but there's a wide, like a way higher number of available small molecules that can be used for that purposes. So that's a conversation which we need to have at some point with him probably. But yeah, absolutely right. That should be our priority. One caveat to that. Dan has already done this like a year or two ago, like maybe like 2 years ago, and he didn't identify anything. So now we just need to understand what is the difference between what Dan and his lab has done and the proposal from Clement. And yeah, that is why it's yeah, it's pressing, but it looks like Dunn has already done that. That is why it's not, to me, super obvious that yes, we need to just go and fund it right away. I just would like to understand what's the difference really, if it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I agree. If I get a better understanding of it and obviously understand the side effects or potential impacts of any kind of repurposed drug, but clearing those hurdles, yeah, I would certainly participate in that for sure.
Yeah.
If
And
if
it's
it's
and it's way before even the side effects analysis, because this will be done on a like on those flies, right? So first we need to see if the phenotype is, they call it, recovered. Basically, it's mitigated, right? This phenotype. And after they confirm it, then we can get to the next stages, which is like the safety for that. But yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, cool.
All right. Patient and parent registry. That's a pretty important piece, apparently, because we need to stay together and we need to be active. Basically, this will show researchers, this will show FDA that we are like a strong vocal community. That is why we absolutely need to make sure that we keep the momentum going, just create the momentum, keep it going, and keep the registration. Someone on this conference said that we need to involve census as well, as a mechanism to count our families. That it hasn't looked into yet. At least we have a patient registry form on our website, and this is where I encourage all of us to register. I think that all of you guys are there. Yeah. Yeah, all of you are there. Jeff is not there and Valerie is not there. But we're there. It's not many. It's like 6 families, but at least we are connected. That's good. Um, all right. Next step. So we've got our 501(c)(3) registered, and we've got an official IRS registration number, which is great. The next step is just to set up the donation platforms. And for that, I've made a research and I found out that Give Lively is the most trustworthy and the cheapest really to run because a lot of other platforms they either have higher commission to transfer the money or they have some sort of tips. Basically, it's free for us, but they're asking for tips from the don from donors, which is I'm not sure that it's a right thing to do. So and I've learned from this Give Lively platform. It's on the left from our parent organization, which is called CDG Care. They're using this, and I looked into that, and it turns out that it's a legit company. So now it's up and running really. We can start like I need to add it to our website and we can receive donations. For us, I think that we can make the donations directly to the bank account. Like I mean for parents who would like to contribute to very specific like projects, I think that the easiest way is just direct deposit on the to a bank account. That's how I did when I printed T-shirts for Lance's Lab, right? I just put my money in this account. It's gonna be like tax free for me, and I paid from this account for the T-shirts. And for example, Clement Show, that's gonna be the same pretty much. We'll just throw the money on the account and pay from it. The second website here on the right, it's called Benevity. Apparently, this is a portal that a lot of corporations use when they need to match donations and they offer volunteering opportunities to their employees. And I've registered there. I still need to go through some sort of verification. It requires like like a letter from the bank. I'll do that, and we'll be present there. Why is it important? It's important because we can create projects there. And if you have friends working in bigger companies like eBay, like Google, or anyone who is really matching the donations and doing that from through this platform, that's a great way to basically double the donations. For example, my wife, we will do the donation through Benevity through her company because they will just double it. If we throw in like 10,000, we will get another 10,000 from them. Um, any comments here or questions?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is it the same? Obviously, because we're in Europe, we can still use that, or would it need to be more of a European-based sort of setup? Because we have something called like Just Giving, and a similar thing with companies where they'll top up the same amount if what you donate. So I just didn't know whether we need to look at it
Yeah, Sarah.
from European side, and it because obviously it's probably a bit different with it being American. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
if you want. Yeah.
let me look into that, Sarah. That's a great question. I don't know if those like Give Lively and Benevity
Mm,
are operating in Europe. If
mhm.
you know platforms where we need to be in Europe,
Yeah.
let's absolutely register there
Okay.
yeah, and we can do it because look, if Benevity provides us the way to double the donations from people,
Yeah.
that's an awesome opportunity, right? We just need
Yeah.
to
Definitely.
take this, right? And if there are similar platforms in Europe, absolutely, let's just take it.
Okay. We'll have a look.
Yeah, and I'll take an action uh
Okay.
to look for it exactly for these platforms. How's that happening specifically for Benevity,
Cool. Thank you.
of course. Um, so another thought that I had is to have individual kids pages. That's something that I looked at when I was talking with this guy from San Filippo. And what they did is they just created stories, personal stories for individual kids. And he said that they have a donate button for the entire site, but they also have individual kids pages with their stories, sometimes with their videos, and you can see they look different. If you so they basically on the left hand side you can see the overall page when you just click on those like Abby for example. This is how Abby's page look. But then you click on another Abby and it looks differently. Then there's alias, right? So we can do that, and particularly for people who would like to have such pages. In this case, you will be able to just send it over to your friends and just say, "Hey, you're particularly helping me, and we can add details about like what needs to be done. Here's the roadmap. Here's the project that we're currently working on, and things like that." So that's the idea. Do you think that that would be reasonable to implement? We already have our pictures, like pictures of our kids on the website, just the picture, but not full stories, no donation, like individual donations.
I think having a story for each child is a good idea, personally. Yeah. Make it a bit more personal. I think you might be more likely then to maybe get donations the more personal it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay. Ivar, would you be open to have such a page?
Yes, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's all then implementation really, because we'll need to set up a page and a separate donation basically account where you like we'll see individual numbers as well. Again, and this is something that OGT, sorry, CDG Care, they also do. They set up individual donation pages for their kids, and it works great for them. All right. Um, Volunteers needed. So if you know someone who can help with like site update, even what I just discussed, you know, it's currently set up in WordPress, and it's fairly not straightforward. I wouldn't call that. So it needs some skills in WordPress, but it takes time. That's one. We need people who can create playbooks for outreach. Basically, we need a playbook which will show what emails do we need to send out, who we need to send out those emails to, um, some other materials, things like booklets or short or small, you know, posters or something, or just handouts. That is something that other organizations are heavily utilizing. Also, fundraising mechanics that work because it's just like 10 of us, right? We cannot absolutely invest our time in things that don't work. And we will not be able to fund everything, right? We'll be able to fund like smaller things like those drug repurposing. But when we need to fund bigger projects, it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's going to be hard. So that's why we need to get into this mode of asking other people to help find the cure. Natural history study. I think that we need that's a very important piece apparently, and we need someone who just push that. What do I mean? There is a natural history study going, and it's organized by CDG Care, and some of our kids are already there in this history study, but I don't have any visibility into what's going on there. How many kids are there? What information are we gathering? Is it enough? I mean, I think it should be enough, right? But really, for OGT, we don't have a sense of what's going on there. So like, we need someone who could just look into that and understand what's going on there. And
Andre, sorry to interrupt on that. I think one of Dan's students was trying to develop like a database with his natural history study, I believe. So I can follow that up to see where she's at with that, if that helps.
absolutely, Sarah, this
Yeah.
you see. and this is absolutely different from what the US initiative is.
Yeah. Okay.
And we need to align on those things. We
Yeah.
don't really have to, I would say, care about like this like different US or Europe.
No, of course not.
Yeah, we
Mm.
absolutely need to get to the result, really. And yeah, if you could ask her
Yeah.
the challenge with that with yeah well let's see if we can if we can combine those things together. But currently,
Okay.
we as a team, as a group of people, as a Cure OGT organization, we have zero visibility into that, and that's a problem. We need to we need to like own this. Another thing is designer. We need designer and videographer. I know that Steve, Sarah's husband, provided corporate resources, but we absolutely cannot rely on that because it's just kind of we're tapping into someone else's just work. And ideally, we need to have someone that dedicated to us. Uh,
Yeah.
because Sarah, I'm so grateful for what
Yeah.
your family has done and Steve has done. It's just like asking some like this corporate designer to do something. It's just not right. We need someone dedicated who can do certain things. Even I'm talking about the pictures of kids, for example. Remember
Yeah.
what amazing pictures this person has done for us, something like that, and we need to put them
Yeah.
on our websites, on our donation pages. We need to craft we need to craft really the, I don't know, maybe even sometimes like outreach emails, right? Design them. And so yeah, that's what we need.
Well, I will speak to Steve. He's away at the moment. Obviously, he might have connections, and he might be able to just like start us up with the website and draft emails and stuff, and then see where we can go from. Sorry, that's Zach saying hi, by the way. Go from there. I can speak to him, see if he's got any connections, if that helps. If you want me to,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I'll also try to post it as a volunteering opportunity because
yeah,
I don't think we have like money to pay now, at least like not a lot of money. We don't have anything right now.
yeah.
Um and yeah, so that is a challenging part of it.
Okay, I'll speak to him and see. Even if it was like you said, like if it was a student or something that would just do it as like experience for them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, perfect.
Maybe I'll see.
Same for videographer. Apparently the videos that we are creating are extremely powerful. Ivar, remember that the video that you've recorded and sent to me. I've put that in yeah, that was incredibly powerful. And I'll go to another conference in a month from now. And Stephanie, who is organizing this conference, she asked Andre, can you please do similar video with other parents or with more parents? So I may want to just like take the shootage from like what you've provided, Ivar, but maybe add Sarah, your family, our family, Neil's family's words, because it is so powerful. People really need it. It moves people, it moves researchers. They like she was very grateful. I was surprised. And apparently it's a big very important work that we need to do. The thing is that currently I've done it myself and I'm not a videographer. It's like we need someone who can do it on a more regular basis. Again, that's I'm just not asking you, but maybe someone in your community, like I will also look for those volunteers, right? But that's something that we need. The last piece is outreach. We need to start being more active in outreaching, in reaching out to our communities, right? And it has to be done. We have to spread the word out. It's not it's taking this playbook, taking those emails, putting the images, the photos that are created by a designer, crafting a story and sending this story out. This is the Basically this is what we need to do. And sending the story out to local communities, posting in our local social network groups, our fitness centers where we go, our maybe legislators who are in our city, newspapers, TV channels. So that is everything that's what we need to do. I've met a woman last week on this rare boot camp who did just that. She was very active in outreach. She met with people, she called them, and she raised $3 million, guys. $3 million in Canada. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's just like, and it's just basically getting yourself out, just knocking on the doors and getting to a result. Would be great to bring her here as well so that she could talk about her experience, how she did that. And she's organizing sometimes even gala. She has those skills though. She knows how to do that, but it can be done. Um, my wife Irina, she was sitting here. She needs to go, but she wanted to
Okay.
share something as well.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'll take the stage for a couple minutes because I feel two topics Andrei touched but didn't give you enough details. So first is this drug repurposing screening on the fly model, right? So how it works, we reached out to the lab of Clement Chow. And why Clement Chow? Because he has successful hits for our CDG diseases. So he's very known in CDG world and did this drug repurposing for many CDGs and has hits, which is important. And hits mean that he was able to identify a drug that you can start giving to a kid, day one without any concerns. And for example, for one disease, the drug turned out to be ibuprofen. So now they give a small dose of ibuprofen to the kid every day. So when I reached out to him, it took Clement Chow maybe 3 months to come up with a good phenotype to test. Phenotype means he tried to, it's not full knockdown, but I think repress expression of gene in different parts of the fly. And he found that when he does it in the eye is much smaller and part of the eye cells are dead. And he said that's super strong phenotype because you can measure it and you can see. So basically what he will be doing in future, he will take the mice with this, who's supposed to have this, like small eye, put it in a drug and the fly will be exposed to this drug. And if the eye turns out to be normal, means that this drug is effective. And why eye is a good phenotype, another reason is because it has a lot of neural cells and it's very similar to like brain. So, having eye gives you very close approximation to the brain in terms of changes. Dan, Andrei mentioned that Dan had dry repurposing screening in the past. He didn't use eye phenotype for sure. He used something else and he didn't find any hits. So what I learned, it really matters what phenotype and how you do this drug repurposing screening. So in Clement Chow, he has a person who's just doing all he does is just that. So he uses exact amount of medicine and exact time. So it's very repeatable. And in terms of outcomes, so it can be 3 ways, right? First, it can be no hits, means that, we spent the money and didn't find anything that is working. Second, it can be that something that is working can be, I don't know, let's say chemo treatment that you won't want to give to your kid on a daily basis because just, negative effects are much, much worse than the positive potential effects. And the third one can be something as easy as a ibuprofen that can just, we can start giving to the kids right away. In case of the second and third outcome, it's still very helpful for the researchers because, if they know that this medicine is working, it can give them clues of what's going on in biology. Maybe they will give them some, ideas on like, why is it working? What, like something, like maybe another angle to look at. So it will give them some additional evidence in their research. That's all I wanted to add on this fly model. And the second thing I wanted to add, so while talking to the guy who was running this San Filippo Foundation for 15 years, I think by now, he said a very eye-opening thing. So basically, when we think about approved drugs and even in gene therapy, right, it's like millions of dollars, years, like tens of years, right? But what he said that for the population that we currently have for our disease, we don't really need to focus on approved drug. We need to focus on getting to the point when we have clinical trial and keep fundraising to run this clinical trial so every kid can get, medicine okay, it won't be FDA approved, but every like kid in our community can get access to the medicine and get it as part of clinical trial. So maybe, like, and that makes it, like much cheaper and much more realistic for us. And when I think about our current community, I mean, it's doable. So we can get to the point when we have, I don't know, when we can start clinical trial for gene therapy in a couple of years, it's very realistic. And we can make it, to be set up so everyone will fit the criteria for this trial. And we can just, treat kids. And that was the case of this San Filippo. So he was running this clinical trial for 15 years. So he didn't just treat his kid, he treated, I don't know, 100 kids. And after 15 years, the company Ultragenics pick it up and gets to the point when they will get FDA-approved drug. So, we don't really need to wait 15 years. We can, if we know that this is helping, we can start using it, giving it to the kids as part of clinical trial. And that's kind of was eye-opening to me. Yeah, sorry for interruption.
Thanks, Serena. Miranda, I see you joined. I saw I finally saw your comments on Facebook, and I was like, oh, you should be here on the call. Because
I thought I was. Sorry, I was driving to pick up Kellen.
yeah, all good. Yeah. So yeah, talking with other organizations like ours who are years ahead is very, very useful because they can basically chart the path for us. So again, maybe if we find it useful, we can bring these people to our conversations and we can have those calls with them. All right. Any thoughts on what Arena mentioned?
I think from my experience, like you go to any sort of charity event and they'll list all the sponsors, they'll classify them as gold, silver, or bronze sponsors. So usually those companies actually have a staff department to take requests for donations. I mean, they're usually quite large companies or public companies or like accounting firms, law firms. So they expect the ask to come. So I think, and even, I mean, our challenges were teeny tiny. So it's really hard to get on the radar screen, but even large firms would probably give you 1,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000, if you've got a good story to tell. So I think completing the website and the white paper and maybe get the kids' stories posted up gives you something to put forward to them, so you can do the ask and start raising funds. I think if we can put a compelling story out there, even the largest firms, even if you're not doing a charity event, would probably give you, X number of thousands of dollars just because they can see the worthiness of it. So I think it's very doable, but you do need to have something to tell your story and to go for the ask for the support and financial support from them. So
Yeah. It just again, absolutely, I agree with you. It's just we need to start doing that. That's the only way to do without us like doing anything, not anything, but this it won't help us.
yeah. But I mean, you can go to any charity event and see the companies that support it. So that's your roadmap of who to go ask, because that they have a charitable bone in their body in their organization, and they will give. So it gives a roadmap to follow, or at least where to go to ask for sure.
And the media would be helpful. Like you can go on the news too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on. Natural history study. So I intended to have a slide with statistics here, who is in it, what we've discussed with you guys already. But apparently there is we are already a part of the CDG care study, and it's at risk. I can share more details, and Andrea from CDG Care shared an email with us. I'm happy to distribute it to all of you, where she said that the funding is cut, and the natural study is paused. So there's no money
Yeah.
to do it. So we may want to do what we can with our representatives, legislation representatives here.
Yeah. We need to make phone calls.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Last piece, lab visits. Sarah, do you want to share your story, a couple of words about how it go?
Yeah, of course. After the conference that we went to in November, Dan then invited us over to the lab just to meet. So we went over in March and we met a lot of the students that are working there, and we just did a presentation, sort of like a history of Zach, like all of his medical history, and then more of a like sort of like from our side as well. And I think they found it really beneficial because I think like what you were saying, it was also like the more human touch to it, and there were just some things in the presentation that they hadn't thought about. So he was very open for anyone to go over, to be honest. So I would recommend it if any parents have got the opportunity to go. I would go. It was, yeah, so it was definitely worthwhile going to meet them, and yeah, like I said, giving rather than just being a variant, actually putting a name to it and what that variant is, and it's Zach, and um everything that went with it. So it was good.
Yeah, awesome.
It's
Uh,
really cool.
that's good. That's good of you that you found time. We are also
Yeah.
flying to Atlanta next Friday, and
Oh,
we
okay.
will see Land's lab. So it's gonna
Oh, perfect. Amazing. Yeah, let us know how that goes.
yeah. I'll share some
Yeah.
like updates from there. Cool. Hi guys. This is actually it for the slides. Um, any other things, any other topics that you think that we need to discuss?
Not from me, but I just want to say thank you to you and Irene. I think you're doing an amazing job. You're really pushing it. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you, Sarah. I mean, like we're so behind, to be honest. It's just,
No, you're doing amazing.
it is we need to do so much, to be honest. That's why I even forced this meeting. I just put it in
Mm,
our Facebook so that I'm putting something together, and I'm
yeah.
bringing all of us together, and like showing all of this, showing what needs to be done, and yeah, looking for also your support. And I wanted to ask if we want to have these meetings more often, like maybe every other week, like once per 2 weeks. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy to have regular ones. Like you said, I think just having something in the diary, whether it means you can always make it, but I think, like you said, otherwise life just gets in the way, doesn't it? And then it's like a few months later. So I think if it was just like a reoccurring meeting, even if like every 2, 3 weeks, I think it's a good idea, even if it's just like catch up. Anyone got any updates or just to say hi? I think it's a good idea personally.
Yeah, just to be supportive, honestly.
Yeah.
I know we all have the same things going on and the same therapies and then life on top of it.
How about time? Does the time work for all of you guys?
Yes, this works for me.
Yes, it sounds quite good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so I'll schedule this call then in our Facebook page for every other week, and we'll just have it as a standing meeting, and we'll just keep on sharing the updates, what's going on. It will keep us accountable for the work, for the progress that we need to do, right? Because without keeping ourselves accountable, it's really hard. We're all down to everyday like tasks with 2 kids, 3 kids, and kids like ours. It's just not easy. All right. I don't want to complain. Like there's no excuses. Well, we just need to find time and keep on doing what we need to do.
Definitely.
And yeah, Andre, you just flip me an email with the schedule because I'm not a Facebook guy.
Oh, I see. Good. I'm glad that I sent an email last minute to you. That's good.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, I'll send a calendar invite.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thanks so much.
That's good.
Thanks, Andre.
Right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Have a good
Take
day.
care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.